And we are live on Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube. We're on YouTube. Something's going on with Facebook. I'm not going to get into it. Technical difficulties all the time.
Exactly.
So this is Speaking of SAC, virtually Speaking of SAC, and we're here every Tuesday morning, 8:30 to 9 on the San Antonio College YouTube page. I'm Hot Mustard, joined here this morning with Dr. Robert Vela, the president of San Antonio College. Good morning.
Good morning, Hot Mustard. How's your morning?
It's cold and I love it.
I love it too. I could walk out with shorts and a sweatshirt and be perfectly fine.
Yes. And hopefully this weather sticks around a little bit longer.
I do. I hope so too, because that humidity wants to sneak back in. So we can get 2 or 3 days out of this. We're going to be in heaven.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So last week we were talking about many things. We're always talking. That's what we do on the show. But I did want to talk about because we're getting ready for the spring semester.
Yes.
Getting ready to go back. And, a lot of colleges are reconfiguring. Boston College yesterday announced what it's going to do. It is going to cancel spring break and delay the opening of the campus by a week. The start of it.
Right.
Are we doing anything like that? Any type of configuring as far as student schedules go?
Well, that's a good question, Hot Mustard. I think all that depends on what the positivity rate and the level of threat the virus is for San Antonio, right? So we're watching that on a daily basis. Right now, the goal or the plan is to go into a 25% capacity return to school, return to work for the spring. Now, that can change. Everything is on the table when it comes to COVID, right? I mean, we could in essence delay. Let's say the virus did spike in San Antonio, and we needed to make adjustments. We could go from 25% capacity all the way back to fully remote again, right? And potentially delay the start of school or potentially cancel, spring break, but that's not on the table right now. Although I want to just assure everyone that every possibility should be on the table when it comes to onboarding safely back in the spring. So we are not going to just say, hey, here's the plan. We've made up our mind, 25% capacity. We're coming rather regardless of what's in front of us. That's not going to happen. So I do really admire these universities and colleges that are very creative with their scheduling. We feel like we have a good plan. It's aligned with our CDC. It's aligned with the city and county and what they're doing with Metro Health. And we can pivot the plan from level 5 all the way to level 1, which is level 5 fully remote, level 1 fully back to normal. We can pivot in that plan and make adjustments on that plan. But right now, 25% capacity in the spring. We're watching this virus very, very carefully. Just think of the things that are happening in El Paso and the Midwest. We're watching that very, very closely. We're seeing our positivity rate tick up. All those are signs that there could be something here that we've got to be ready for, or it's just one of these things where we've got to watch this very carefully. But college universities are doing everything they can to accommodate those semesters so that we don't get into a position where we were last March and having to pivot within a week or two. I think we're well positioned to pivot, all to keep our employees and our students safe in a safe learning environment.
Definitely. And when it did happen, we were on spring break.
That's right.
And so we had to extend spring break one extra week. I didn't hear much complaining on that front.
And for a lot of us who were on spring break, we're not on spring break. We were all working during spring break and the week after. So the students really, had that extra week, but no one knew what we were just about to get into, right? So if I could take it all back and say, hey, would you still want to keep that extra spring break? And we would say no, if we could just eliminate all this pandemic, right? We didn't know what we were encountering and how the lingering effects of this virus, and now potential second wave that could be coming. It has been a marathon for us. I'll take it back. I think it's worse than a marathon. It could be like an Iron Man or Iron Woman kind of competition that we've got to get through. It's long. It's hard. We've got to stay the course. When you get fatigued and you say, I'm tired of this virus, remember the virus is not tired of us, right? So it's one of those things where we could let our guard down. And this is the one that really is very concerning, right? All this is starting to spike right before the big family gatherings, right? During our tradition.
You have the election.
The election.
You have Halloween. Then you have the
Halloween,
election, Thanksgiving, and the holidays.
See, that is a recipe for a disaster for San Antonio if we're not careful, you know.
And right now, USA Today, they analyze data from Johns Hopkins University, and it's one new coronavirus case every 1.2 seconds on average.
Gosh, yeah, it's hard to even wrap your head around that, but I just want to urge our SAC community and our San Antonio community I know it's going to be hard to stay home and maybe have a virtual Thanksgiving or those kinds of things, but I think we've got to do it. We've got to do it because this can really take off on us, especially with the flu season coming as well. We don't know. This is kind of uncharted water, just like it was back in March for us. So, the timing couldn't be worse with these spikes. We just need to be careful, be very thoughtful. Don't get tired about and frustrated about what we're in, because things can get worse. I mean, you know, just when we think everything's fine, and then we could be in a position where El Paso. It breaks my heart to see what El Paso is going through, because El Paso is a lot like San Antonio, you know. So it's hard to see a lot of suffering there, and they've seen a lot of suffering with that mass shooting, and now with this situation with COVID. It breaks my heart to see a community in pain like that. But it's just we're all very vulnerable right now. We've got to be very careful.
Yes. Speaking of early voting, final days of early voting, the San Antonio College Victory Center is a polling location for Bexar County. Record turnout. So you can cast your vote from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., 10 o'clock at night, until this Friday. Have to have your voter registration and ID. And then Election Day, next Tuesday, November 3rd.
So not only is it a polling place, but it's one of the best I hear in San Antonio, simply because I think you're in and out. I mean, now I think the lines are going to get worse, right, this week, but up until this week, the feedback I was getting that people were kind of in and out. I mean, they were voting and then they weren't waiting too long.
I had to go to campus a couple times last week, and I did not see a line out the door. I didn't see a line around the block or anything. And parking lot looked like, I'm going to say like it always used to, because of the, you know, the San Antonio College, and parking was always a problem.
That's exactly right.
But yeah, definitely in and out, go vote. We're definitely not telling you who to vote for, but we do want you to vote. Participation is key.
Yeah.
And we're already well above the 2016 election numbers as far as early voting goes. So we're on the right path, I think.
So I have voted, but I think I remember you saying you like to do it on the day, right?
I am an election day person.
That's awesome.
It's tradition, you know, and
yeah.
It's what I do.
I really love that and respect that, because I think you walk away with a bigger sense of country, right? And your contributions to this country. I think that day really is a special day when you do that. Early voting, yeah. I mean, you okay, where it's convenient, you're in and out. But to be able to experience that on that official day, I think is a very special thing if you can do it. I simply didn't do it simply because I wanted to do it early, because I know, you know, having an 11-year-old and having all the things, I know things can get away from you, and I don't want to miss it, you know. So I just said, I'd rather this is a good day. We went in, I took my 11-year-old, had her experience everything again. And she loved it. She was trying to tell me who to vote for. So that I'm glad she's well informed on who she's wanting to get to elect. So I do appreciate the process.
And it's definitely a great feeling that you get, and especially during these times, you need that feeling of self-accomplishment.
Yeah.
You know, like the feeling you get after you cut your yard and you're standing there and you're looking
that's
at it
awesome.
and you're like,
yeah,
I cut that yard.
That's the best.
but you know, imagine going into the voting booth and then on election day and the people you voted for get into office.
Wow.
And you get that sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
And you honestly, you get it immediately after you leave the voting booth.
Right.
So definitely, I think we all could use some self accomplishments in our lives.
So I'm thinking, yes, go vote. You're right, Hot Mustard. I was reflecting a little bit, and of course, I'm trying to look at it from my 11-year-old's perspective, right? Because it's really about the young people and watching and observing these positive values and how important it is to contribute to your country. So I walk away, we walk out, I have my little sticker. Well, I missed the sticker, and they all have stickers, and I'm like, where's my sticker? Right. So I went back in, I almost got kicked out because I went back in the door I'm not supposed to go in through, and I got my sticker, and we're all walking back to the truck. And I normally put the sticker and just put it on my my shirt or whatever, but I'm like, that's just for the evening. So I grabbed it and put it in back of my truck on the windshield. Not sure why, but I said, I've officially become the old guy, right? Because I'm like, that's what I want everybody in my neighborhood to know, that I voted. You don't need to know who I voted for, but I voted. And I'm thinking, my 11-year-old's watching that, and she sees, hey, Dad's got some pride about voting. I hope that stays with her, and she continues that sense of duty to always vote, always have a voice, always be counted, always be heard and counted. It's very important.
Yes. This Friday is Employee Development Day. It's a day-long event. And they're going to have a drive-through campus parade for the staff and the faculty. Now, it's scheduled from 9 to noon.
Yes.
9 a.m. to noon.
Yeah.
The employees' time will be much shorter. You'll be in the parade for about 15 minutes.
This is going to be cool. So think about this, Hot Mustard. Driving through the middle of campus with all kinds of fun stuff. You never have to exit your car. You can have your family with you. The weather is going to be like in the 60s or 70s. You can roll down your windows. We're going to have all kinds of special things that we don't want to give away quite yet. That is just going to make that 15 minutes the best time of your life.
Nice.
I think so, because who gets to drive through campus legally? I've seen people illegally try to drive through campus, but I've never seen people legally drive through the middle of campus. I think that's going to be special.
I've been able to drive my truck onto campus, but you're always working when you do that. I'm either loading.
Well, that's true.
Or
you're loading or unloading something, aren't you?
Yeah.
If you've got the truck, they're going to ask you to go back it up and load something on the right. I get it.
Being able to drive through campus like that, it's wonderful. And being able to see the campus again and try to get that feeling of it.
So go ahead.
Shout out to the groundskeepers.
Yes,
I was on campus last week.
Beautiful
planning, and
it's beautiful.
It's amazing.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I was expecting maybe overgrown weeds or something, tumbleweeds, or I don't know. But
it's Texas.
It looked like it was amazing. It was perfect.
Yeah. So I just can't imagine. So I'm trying to put myself in the place of an employee that has not been to campus since March. We only have a few of us back, and that's sporadic, right? Mm-hmm. But the majority of folks have been away. So I think you're right. When they see the beautiful grounds, and I agree with you, Hot Mustard, that they've done a tremendous job on the grounds, because I said, I don't want it to look abandoned. Yes, we're not there, but it still needs to be a sense of pride for our community that this place looks amazing, right? So I can't imagine being away that long, driving through the middle of campus, and you know how beautiful that mall area is when you walk there. And I think it's just going to bring a lot of pride and a lot of joy for a lot of people, and they're going to be able to say, it's going to be okay. We're going to get back. We're going to get back to this. And this is why I love working at SAC. And I want folks to remember that and experience that, the joy and the fun we've had in a very safe environment. You never leave your car. You're not engaging with people. So I think this is a smart way to do it. And we're actually going to do graduation very similarly like that as well for our students. And I think it's going to be very special.
Nice. And like I say, our community.
Yeah.
I mean, also you got to think about it. Everybody who's going to go to this parade, they're going to be driving by all the restaurants they used to go to.
Yeah.
And I want to say, support local, support your local restaurants. Because we have many around San Antonio College. And we definitely don't want to lose that, because that is a part of our community.
Yeah.
And our students, have helped those businesses over the years, and our faculty and staff, and support local.
Right. I agree. And that's one of the charges, that anything that we do, it's very limited programming we're doing, but I always ask the team, are we buying local? Whatever we're buying to make this very special, is it local? And that's the first question I ask, because I agree with you, Hot Mustard. There are small businesses struggling, and anything that we can do to help support them while we're supporting our employees and our students, we should help each other through this very difficult time. So I have a commitment to ensure that we buy everything we can locally to support our neighbors. And and a lot of the things that that are going to be that we're going to experience during Employee Development Day was pretty much locally bought.
Nice.
So I'm very, very happy about that.
We're going to be celebrating our first generation students in college next week. So we want to acknowledge the accomplishments of all students who are the first in their family to go to college.
It's a big deal, huh?
It's a very big deal. And, we all have families, and how hard it is to change a recipe in a household.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're talking about changing a lifestyle, going to college for the first time in a family unit. It's a very big accomplishment.
Yeah, I remember my dad, oil field, tough guy, did not graduate from high school, but eventually did earn his GED. I remember getting up, going to school, and he would say, I need your help in this. And I said, well, I've got class, Dad, I got to go. And he would look at me like, what is wrong with you? So, yeah. I mean, he loved me, but he didn't understand why I had to go to class and he was there stuck, digging fence poles or something, I mean, so it's one of these things where you get pressure, and it's not intentional. I mean, it's just one of these things that, like you said, how do you change the recipe of what you've always known? You're going to get pressure from all angles, even from the people that love you, because they just don't know, right? That's why first generation is a big deal, because you're in essence a trailblazer. You're cutting paths and trails that no one's ever cut before. That's a big deal, and I think the team made up of Dr. De Los Reyes and others, and are doing a tremendous job highlighting just to let our first gen students know that, hey, we've been there, we understand what you're going through, and we're here for you. Don't ever feel like you're alone, because you do feel like you're alone as a first generation student.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So we don't want them to feel that way.
And this first generation kickoff is going to be on Monday, November 2nd, 6 p.m. to 7. It's going to be on Zoom, and you're going to be talking with everyone there, along
a couple
of guests.
Yeah.
But you're going to be the first keynote speaker, and then
yeah, I hope. Yeah, I mean, I do have some experiences, but I think we stepped it up a notch. Don't worry, I won't drown anything out. But we've got some great speakers. One of them who's got a great story is the mayor's wife, and others that she really has done a great job for SAC. So we've got some really nice surprises for our first gen students, and I'm participating in 2 or 3 different events, and one's like a discussion roundtable, one is a keynote kind of thing, and I'm looking forward to it. Those are my people. You know what I mean? I was first gen. I was the first one, and so I can relate, and I know what it takes, and I know they can make it. They can do whatever they want to do, no doubt in my mind. They're talented individuals. It's just they're the first. It's hard. It's hard being the first. But I think they can do it, no doubt.
So first generation students, head on over alamo.edu/SAC/firstgenweek. All one word, no dashes. Last week you had, I'm not going to say pizza with the president, but it was
Visit
a talk
with
with you. Visit with the president.
Visit with the president. Visit with Vela, I think the official title was. So
any feedback on that? Anything stick out?
You know, I was so proud of the students that had the courage to really talk about some of the difficulties they're experiencing, predominantly regarding this new COVID pandemic environment, and what we can do to better help them through their journey from book prices to internships and things like that really, I mean, these students are so focused that want to get through their journey, but obviously there are limitations in this community, when you talk about internships, right? Or when you're talking about the price of textbooks or those kinds of things. So I was so happy that the students that were there that needed help, we personally took them by the hand and helped them. So I want to encourage all students that when these opportunities come to take advantage of them, because I think the students that went were all helped in some way or another, simply because I'm not going to let a student walk away in need. If they're telling us about it, we're going to do something about it. And so it was very, very positive. It was intimate, excellent questions, thoughtful questions. And it validated that we are doing everything we can for our students. But it's always good to know if there are any opportunities that we can, step up our game or do a little bit better job at some areas. And I think we can. I think we need we need more opportunities for students to share with us kind of what they're going through, so that we don't lose sight of their normal, of what they're going through. And so I loved it, and it was all Zoom, right? So, but it did not diminish the affect, the emotion, the courage that these students had to come forth, and we had a great discussion, about an hour and a half long, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's always nice that you do that, and that's a tradition that we have here at San Antonio College, and
Yes,
other institutions you may not even see the college president on campus ever. So it's nice that we have that transparency and that willingness to help the students.
Yeah, and I want to thank the Student Government Association, right? Because they're the ones that really are in the forefront of putting this together. They don't miss a semester, and this one was different, but it was really, really nice. It was very creative, very well done. So I want to give a shout out to the Student Government Association for being true leaders and true servants of our students. They're doing a great job.
Yes. Wintermester registration begins Monday, November 9th, and that's going to run through Wednesday, December 9th. So the start date for Wintermester is Tuesday, December 14th, and it's going to run through January 1st. So if you're interested in that, I think you have what it takes, which I think everyone does. alamo.edu/SAC/wintermester. And I always hear about, we used to hear about people going through these competitions, the obstacle courses and stuff. Wintermester and Maymester.
Yes.
If you can do those things physically, well, mentally, you got to prepare yourself it's a bit of a struggle, but I will say you come out of it on top.
That's right.
You will feel great.
I
And you'll definitely feel like you've accomplished something. And you know, once you go through that, you any class is going to be easy.
I think you're right, Hot Mustard. I think folks that have gone or are going through it for the first time have never gone through something like this. However, as you said, I think it's very rewarding. If you've got the right attitude and the right focus, you will do just fine. But it's 3 weeks of just hang on and let's get this stuff done. And last winter semester, we had like about a 90% success rate for those students that are going through those courses. So that's really, really high. So that tells me that those students knew what they were coming into and they were serious, they were focused, and they got it done. But this time we're going to double our capacity. We're up to 64, 65, 66 sections being offered. So there will be plenty of sections for students for us to meet those student needs, to give you a head start in the spring, get you closer to graduation so you're not falling behind, especially those students that took less hours this fall because of the pandemic. This is a great way to catch up, guys, to take one more course.
Definitely. Well, it is coming down to that time of the show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this morning. I want to thank everyone who's left some comments. Monica Gutierrez, Ken, and Bruce Davis.
Always can count on Bruce Davis.
Bruce, stay in the car if you go to the parade.
Yes. He's like Bruce Davis is like SAC's official mayor, right? So he's going to want to get out of his car. He's going to want to start to try to shake people's hands. And so we're going to have to keep him in the car, Hot Mustard. That's going to be our goal. And he can just wave like a mayor does in the parades, right? He is like our official mayor here at SAC.
All right. Catch us here every Tuesday morning, 8:30 to 9, right here on the San Antonio College YouTube page. And we'll see everyone next week.
Can't wait. Please come over to the development day. It's going to be an amazing day, guys. Thank you so much, Hot Mustard, for everything you do. Appreciate you.